the right areas. So how did we do that? Over the last few years, we came up with a number of brand behaviors that we thought led to authenticity. And we had approximately 20 of these. We put these in front of consumers, and we asked them to say which ones they felt, in order, were authentic behaviors by a brand. They picked 7 of the 20, and they put them in order. And that is then what we've run our data against these brands. So what we found was it wasn't really the dictionary definition, the real definition of authenticity as we may all understand. The concept of authenticity from a consumer point of view, and this was fairly similar across the 14 markets, is slightly different, and I'll take you through it. First of all, the data clustered into 3 clusters of these 7 attributes. And they are what we've called the 3 R's. So in order of importance, reliable, respectful, and real. So authenticity in our study is a function of how much consumers believe the brand to be reliable, respectful, and then real. And if I show you the specifics underneath each of these, and the next slide, you can see in order of importance, delivers on promises and is high quality are the number 2 business attributes under the reliable cluster, and they're the 2 most important for defining authenticity for a brand. Then under respectful, we have treating customers well, and then interestingly, and I mentioned data privacy earlier on, protecting customer privacy and data is really the most specific of the brand behaviors that came through, and it's number 4. Then we move on to real, which certainly to me is much more how I think of the word authentic. To consumers it's still important, but it's the 3rd category. And in there we have communicating honestly, we have being genuine and real, and we have acting with integrity. So that, for us then, is the definition of authenticity in the views of consumers, and how we ask them to think about it when they're rating these brands. If we were to take a learning from what they rejected in terms of how we define authenticity, it would appear from those behaviors I've just taken you through, they seem to be much closer to the consumer direct experience. It's what consumers see and feel. And what they've kind of rejected are things like values or environmental responsibility or public health concerns. We're not saying they're not important, but we're saying when it comes to the definition of authenticity, they're not in the consumer mindset in defining it. So in other words, the more important things about a company that you might learn on their website or through a CSR program are not necessarily going to drive your authenticity score. So we've summed it up. This is just being a little bit silly, but saying treat the consumer better than the planet. It seems to have a more direct impact on their views. So then we want to just, before we go into how brands have performed, is there a simple opportunity where brands underperform? On our y-axis here we have the actual performance of brands in the study, and on the x-axis we have how the desired performance from consumers in terms of importance. And there is a slight underperformance at a global level in the real category. So that's where potentially communications can play quite a strong role, but I think it's more than that. It's the idea of communicating honestly, acting with integrity, being real, not artificial. This seems to be where brands are struggling. And in Spain, it's essentially the same.
Sí. Bueno, la pena si traducimos los 3 drivers principales al español ya no son las 3 R's, ya no son también la primera confiable o respetuosa y real, pero vemos que en particular en España donde se encuentra un mayor déficit es en ese ámbito de real, que si vemos tenía que ver más con una parte más relacionada con los intangibles, con esa transparencia, con esa cercanía, apertura, con una comunicación honesta, Como decía Andrew, parece que quizás lo hacíamos con algún interés desde barriendo para casa, porque nos dedicamos a la comunicación y a la comunicación corporativa, pero efectivamente es en un terreno en el que las compañías quizás han sido muy cerradas y se les achaca esa falta de apertura, especialmente en un momento de transparencia total en el que los consumidores se han empoderado y tienen un acceso y están quizás en un nivel mucho mayor de igualdad con las marcas, en las que establecen un diálogo más de uno a uno, no esa comunicación unidireccional que antes les llegaba, y especialmente yo creo también, como comentaba antes Enrique, en estas nuevas generaciones de millennials que exigen una serie de valores diferentes, que conocen su poder frente a las marcas y lo ejercen, y ese factor de la experiencia lo valoran mucho más. No quería llamarlo egoísmo, porque me ha hecho gracia la frase de parece que es mejor cuidar al consumidor que cuidar al planeta. No entramos en eso. Es verdad que si vemos las nuevas generaciones vemos que basan todo mucho en su propio filtro, la realidad y cómo las marcas se comportan con ellos, y a través de eso hacen su percepción de cómo es la marca. O sea que al final ese ámbito de real en España parece que es todavía más, y que nuestros consumidores todavía quieren aún más que la media ese tipo de comportamiento.